President Trump has put into place a number of travel bans over the last couple months due to the coronavirus pandemic. This video is going to break down exactly the parameters of those travel bans, who they affect when it comes down to immigrants and non-immigrants, and when I think that they're all going to come to an end. Hi, I'm Andrea, and I'm the managing attorney at Shev Law Group in Los Angeles, California. I've been doing immigration for over 17 years, and I put together these videos to give you short, reliable information on all different types of immigration topics. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you're notified the next time a video comes out. President Trump has put into place a number of travel bans over the last couple months, all due to the coronavirus pandemic. There's so much confusion out there in the media and all around us about who actually is restricted from coming into the United States. Well, I'm going to go through in this video the two proclamations that he put out banning travel to the United States. What are the parameters of those actual travel bans? How do they affect the immigrant and non-immigrant community? And when do I think it's all going to come to an end? President Trump put into place two main travel bans in March. One was banning anyone that was coming from the Schengen area, which also included 26 European states that he listed in the proclamation. Shortly thereafter, he expanded the actual ban to include also the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. So anyone who was in any of those places within 14 days of trying to travel to the United States was banned from entering our country. Now, what are those 26 European states? Here on this slide, I'll show you, this is the list of all the European states, which you can see include Austria, Belgium, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, many countries, 26 of them that are included in that actual proclamation that they're banned from coming to the United States. So if you look, it is a pretty expansive travel ban, but there are so many exclusions that are very important to understand about this travel ban, which not a lot of people are really clear on. Now let's go through what those bans or what those exceptions to the ban are. First and foremost, if you are a lawful permanent resident of the United States or a citizen of the United States, you are not banned under this proclamation. If you are a parent or legal guardian of a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, you are not banned from this, you're not subject to this proclamation of travel ban to the United States. If you are married to a U.S. citizen, you are also not banned from coming to the United States. If you're a sibling of a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident, provided you're unmarried and you're under 21 years old, you are not banned from coming to the U.S. under this proclamation. Now, there's a number of other exceptions or exemptions from these travel bans that you can see listed here, but those are just a few that I wanted to touch on. So it's really important to note that not everybody is banned from coming to the United States. There are very specific and a pretty broad amount of people that are not banned. The people that are banned, or the ones that are going to be affected by this the most in the immigrant and non-immigrant community, are visaed individuals. So people that have work visas or non-immigrant visas that don't fall under one of these exceptions are going to be banned from coming to the United States during this proclamation period. When does it end? Well, we don't know when it ends. I mean, basically in the proclamation, it says that it is indefinite until it is stopped or it's terminated by President Trump. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how long this stretches out. We could hope that it will end sooner rather than later, and it will run the curve of how the world is doing of recovering from the pandemic. So hopefully we will see this end sooner rather than later, like I said. Now, let's go through a real life experience of someone who was dealing with this actual travel ban. One of my clients had to actually go through the motions of getting through this travel ban as someone who was actually exempted from the travel ban. So this was an individual who is married to a United States citizen and had filed an immigrant petition abroad to become a permanent resident. They were in London and they were there for more than 14 days, so they were subject to the ban. They were in London, they were in the UK, and they were there within 14 days of wanting to travel to the United States. They were going to travel to the United States on ESTA, on the visa waiver program, And they knew that they would be subject to the travel ban, but they realized because they were married to a US citizen that they would be exempt from the ban. So they booked a flight on British Airways. They checked in, marking that they were coming in on ESTA, and the system automatically blocked them. Now, obviously the system didn't have all the information, so it automatically said that the US authorities are blocking your ability to travel to the United States through this flight. So what was he going to do? It was a very scary and frustrating situation. So what he ended up having to do was go to the airport, and this is something that I think all of you should take note of. If you're going through this situation and you feel that you are exempted from these travel bans, but you are not being allowed to fly, these are steps which I want to show you that you should take and be aware of to be able to get over the hurdle of this travel ban. Now, nothing better than person-to-person contact. If you're dealing with a computer system, most of it is automated. So whatever you put in is just going to shoot right back that you're probably banned. So the suggestion is always to go to the airport directly and try to talk to management at the actual counter of the airline that you're trying to take. And bring with you, more importantly than anything, bring with you the evidence that's going to allow you to prove your exemption. For example, in my client's situation, he brought with him his marriage certificate and proof that his wife was actually a US citizen, her passport, her birth certificate, whatever was necessary to prove that, one, he was married to her, and two, that she was actually a US citizen. So he brought those with him to the airport, approached the airline counter, explained to them the situation. They then did their own analysis of the documents he provided and their analysis of the travel ban. And they then, after a little bit of time, of course, they then allowed him, they overrode the system and allowed him to travel. But it doesn't end there, really. And it usually won't end there in most countries, not just in London or in different cities in the UK. It's going to be like that probably across most cities across the whole area that is banned. So the next step usually is that you're going to be confronted with US immigration themselves. Because just because the airline is going to override your ability to come into the US, right, and allow you to come in based on what they believe you are exempted from, the US authorities will also want to see that documentation. So when he was then traveling from the counter to board the plane, he was actually stopped by US immigration and asked to show documentation again of why he felt that he was exempted from the travel ban. They are taking this really seriously, if you haven't realized so far. So you're not just going to be allowed to kind of skirt around these travel bans. If you do happen to get through one, most likely you went through a process like I'm explaining now. So he had to present to the US officer the marriage certificate, the birth certificate. They actually took it from him. They verified it. They had a number of questions about his prior visa history that they asked him about. So they did their homework. And finally, they actually let him board the plane. So he had to go through a number of steps in order to get past this travel ban. And it's something that you really need to think about when you're planning travel in the future. If you are someone that is subject to the ban and then allowed to have an exemption against that ban. I hope this video clarified a lot of information with regard to travel bans, who they are actually subject to, who is exempted from them, and if you are exempted from them, how to go about actually traveling to the United States through the airports. It's a very, very difficult situation right now for many, many people because a lot of people are exempted from these travel bans, but they just don't know what steps to take in order to get them from their country of origin or where they're coming from to the United States safely and as painlessly as possible. The most important advice I can give you, which I've already stated, but I will state again, is make sure whatever reason it is that you are exempted from the travel bans, you have with you the proper evidence to prove that. So if you are a child of a US citizen, make sure you have your birth certificate and information on your parent being a US citizen. If you are married to a US citizen, like my client is, that you make sure you have the marriage certificate and then you have proof that that person is actually a US citizen. The more information you can bring to the officers and to the airline to prove your exemption, the easier it will be to get past it. Please don't just roll over and just throw up your hands and say, forget it, I can't travel. If you are exempted, you are exempted. and fight for the right to be exempted. Don't just throw your hands up and say, well, the computer said I can't go, so I can't go. Or wait in line at the embassy forever, if ever you're going to get through, to get some kind of information or some kind of auto response that says that you can't go, when in reality you probably can go, because if you think you're exempted, you probably are exempted. I hope this video was helpful, and please, if you've been through this process and you've been banned from coming to the United States, but you've overcome that through being exempted, and you have a story to tell and to share with others so they can be helped through their process, please don't forget to put it down in the comments below so you can help others get through this very difficult, very stressful time that we're all in. If you like this video and you want to hear more videos, please don't forget to also subscribe and hit that bell so you know the next time a video comes out. I wish you all to be safe and look forward to talking to you next time.